Okay, Karl's top tips. So here's my quick tip. A lot of the time at the moment, I'm using these 3 pens. So I've got a fine Pentel brush pen in black. I've got a standard Pentel brush pen in grey. And then I've got a water blender just with water. Not an expensive thing. In the UK, you pick these up for about £1 or something. And I use these an awful lot to get a kind of watercolor effect that's quite useful, impressive, and getting some tone down very quickly on a drawing. The key to it is to find a pretty good paper like this one, which is enough to resist the amount of liquid you're getting on there, and it doesn't ruckle up too much, and also has a certain sheen to it so that you can still move the ink around once you put it on there for a few seconds. So for example, if I was doing a head, and I can go with the water and grey, lids off both, ready for action. And I can use both hands because I don't need to be super accurate with this, and again, it's really useful because I can get tones down, move the ink around really quickly, and I'm starting to think about form, depth, light and dark, all really quick. So you can work really, really loose with this in the beginning, get some water on there, move it around, and let the ink do its thing. Because for me as well, I really enjoy it when the medium does some of the work, not because I'm lazy, but well, maybe because I'm lazy. Like that, put the grey away. Really let that dry, but it's a quick tip, so I won't let it dry, and then go in with the black. You can still move that black around and use it to get variations in the grey really, really quickly. So it's a useful little tip for getting tone and values down very, very quickly. And also, it's quite nice because it adds a looseness and a kind of painterly feel to your drawing. Essentially, I'm only drawing here, really. It's not a painting, but just moving the ink around really quickly. As I said, the key to this is making sure you've got a good paper that's not going to completely be destroyed by adding water to it. And then if you leave this to dry for maybe 5 minutes, you can go in and do some real nice little line work. And the great thing is if I make a slight mistake or I'm not so happy with that, I can still take some of the value away knock it back a bit. And that's how I'm working quite a lot at the moment, just to take drawings to a slightly more finished level, really. And I enjoy working this way. It's just quite rewarding and good fun as well. That's one of my top tips, I guess. I keep an awful lot of these pens in my pencil case. I've got a huge amount of brush pens and various colours, and for the most part I'm using these black and grey all the time. Another top tip is, if you need a highlighter, or if you feel like you've lost some of the highlights, I use these Pentel correction pens, which are really useful because they're super opaque. You can go in like that, and when it's still wet you can smudge it. Of course your finger gets filthy, but and use the good old jungy smudge technique. So you can see there, you took really essentially pretty much an ink drawing, just grey and black on a water blender, but made something that's a little bit more energetic and feels a bit more painterly in my eyes. And so it's just a different approach to to using these brush pens as a medium. I find them they're really great, actually, because they're really versatile. I think initially, maybe as a Westerner, I found them quite hard to use because you're not used to drawing and writing with a brush. I'm more used to painting, but over the years of practice with them, I've adapted my technique, and so I'm kind of morphing together my watercolor technique and then the many hours of practice I've made with these brush pens, and kind of coming out with something quite interesting, hopefully. So that's my top tip for today.